Well, hello everyone. Today is August 1st, 2020. So this is part of my Master of Science ECO course that I'm going to include some of the typical things that happen to somebody like me. So there was a conversation with a person that has a group with CFI, and he was very interested in me presenting for his group. When I wrote something, when he was looking for presenters, I wrote a few things that were a little bit sarcastic, I guess, to test to see if, he was really into inquiry, and I think he ended up being like that. So not a good fit for the CFI, Center for Inquiry, or Centers for Stalling Inquiry might be a better name for them. But so I was excited to be able to do something that resembles a little bit of what my course could be for people that would be claiming the commitment to be ready to change their worldviews at an older age. So he says, thanks, Martin, looking good. I think it'll be a very interesting presentation. Are you okay if we use the title below? Are Homo sapiens really who they think they are? And the short description is a short presentation about what prevents the people primates an objective view of the world that they belong to and who they truly are. And I said, and then he sends me a link to the YouTube of the meeting, and I confirmed that it was on the meetup, with my name and the title. And I said, that seems as simplified a description and title as any others, so do you need a short bio about who I am now? And this is after we've had a few dialogue, including a phone conversation. So, and then I hear from him after, which wasn't very surprising to me, which is why I told him earlier on, I said, are you sure you want to do this? I'm not very popular with CFI because I'm actually a critical thinking expert, and I think that makes them very uncomfortable. And so he said, Martin, I have just been told, that's bold letters, told this half hour to cancel your presentation by the CFI branch manager. I have refused, but apparently I have no choice. CFI holds the account for the meetups. I am quite upset about it. I think it would have been a very interesting discussion. Very sorry, but they pulled a plug on me and I was given an ultimatum. Very sorry. So this seems like a genuine email from him, which wasn't a big surprise from me on my part, coming from CFI based on the culture that I've been studying from, anyway, CFI Canada. And I said, I'm not very surprised, which is why I wanted to include the definition of inquiry as one of the words to define within my presentation, because I already sent him a draft PowerPoint presentation. A lot of it had to be defining words that were being used, and I wanted to add this one so that if it ever came to be this presentation, that the CFI would have to eventually change their name, because if I became even more unpopular doing this presentation, although people would say, wow, that's pretty interesting stuff, and that's stuff that maybe most people aren't ready to hear, but it is kind of maybe is reflecting the current situation of the world. And to then show how HSD has destroyed even this simple and ancient concept, inquiry, among the Homo communia, the would-be humans. Of course, I do not agree with your choice, I was telling him, to accept censorship, as this does not reflect the definitions of both sentience and sapience from both you and also the CFI branch manager. If you both agreed to give yourselves the taxonomy of Homo communia instead, then that would be fine, as then no sentience or sapience would be required. And if you look at earlier conversations or recordings of me, and this is again, predicting through HSD my theory that they would end up acting in this way. Strange how the CFI are intimidated by my own messages and how they prove me right every time by also not canceling my own memberships on these sites. And today is August 1st. It's the day it was actually supposed to be my presentation, but this was from almost a week ago. And again, today I confirm my membership is still active. and I took screenshots even after this that it was still active. Although I predict that they would eventually come to pass if I insisted on showing them their true colors, which is not something that I currently find to be of any value when evaluating my priorities for how I should be spending my time right now. So I did not press this, so my memberships are still up with CFI meetups. I do appreciate your efforts with me regardless, and I hope that you now see the irony of how the CFI and their actions are just one of many modern ways at which the nonconformists are still stoned to death, shunned, crucified, and otherwise silenced by the elite. But now, because of HSD, even generally discriminated against by the norm. The Homo communia, the common man-woman of the day, critical thinking is now simply an illusion among the Homo communia. No matter how many books are written about the subject, still an illusion. And I was kind of pointing out Christopher DiCarlo here that I will do another blog about at a later time. So it's sad because Christopher DiCarlo is also on the some sort of board with the Canadian Mental Health Association, which I've studied 3 to 4 years ago as being more a force to promote mental illness than promote mental health in Canada, because they facilitate the status quo of what's broken with those cultures all through Canada and the world. The Humanist Association of Canada agreed to publish my article below, although they all hate me for it, and they continue to spread, like the CFI, this hate stigma through memes without really understanding why. I have already speciated to become an Homo sentient sapien. Same DNA as the Homo communia, but with an astronomically different cognitive operating system than 99.6% of my own species of origin. And then there's a link to the article. At least I have the following souvenirs that a possibility of a few different people wanted to hear what I had to say. And some of the souvenirs are, screenshots that the presentation was on before it was canceled. How many people had already signed up, by the way? And he didn't answer that specifically. In about 1 week, read my time capsule TC 2.6 once again, and then see all the parallels of what I wrote and what happened between us and the CFI. This will answer some of the questions that you had originally wanted to ask me. Progress in human thought was no longer possible even before I was born. My own research into becoming the original Doctor of Humanics shocked me with this conclusion a few years ago. And again, I wrote somewhere else that I didn't have any peers to hug me when I realized, wow, I was even born too late with the social momentum underway with a lot of things to actually help prevent the crash of this latest proto-civilization. My own university waited for the right time before banning me from the campus after I fired them with this letter included as an attachment. I lived on Vancouver Island for 14 years and nobody from there remains comfortable speaking with me, although I didn't do anything wrong and I did a lot of things right, a lot more right than the norm. I am shunned. I role model a lot of that, and the more intense I got to role model the right thing, by the way, people, is the more I was shunned, and that includes by people who think they're the best in society, like the religious people, or the career elite. I am shunned by groups calling themselves Earth Warriors on Facebook, or people that are supposedly promoting deep ecology or ecocentric type of thinking. And when I show them, their contradictions or their incongruences, I'm not popular there either. So it's all about image. Simply for asking them why they are not more outraged that Earth Day was skipped this year, and how most of their posts are, still too little too late, and they're still, not gonna be making a big difference compared to what they should be talking about. Sad, which would not make them popular or have a lot of people sign up to these groups. Sadly, the beginning of the end started a long time ago. Enjoy your weekend anyways. Martin, the professor of socio-cybernetics. P.S. And some more readings of enlightenment for you are included. And I included my, the 26-page letter where I fired my university for claiming that they knew what they were talking about with the concept of sustainability, and also the letter I wrote, Dear British Columbia residents, after I left there after 14 years. And then the letter I wrote to the government of Japan to show an example of my specialties and examples of what they could be used for. And also a letter of 4 pages to the Ministry of Education of British Columbia saying why I was frustrated with my master's degree, and now I had to focus my career in other ways, and it was to help the new generation of kids learn more about their planet and collaborative skills through what are real life skills, not what people call life skills, which are actually living skills. They needed to define those behaviors, those skills with oneself and others in a way that they could collaborate and succeed in the future, this new generation. And it's not a focus in British Columbia or any other provinces in Canada, and pretty much the rest of the world as well. And again, my theory explains that it's kind of too late to try to reverse that flow to save these upcoming generations from the hardest problems they'll have to solve with the least amount of collaborative thinking tools at the same time. So it's very, very sad to see this. And then, of course, there's a few other things I included, like some of the my credentials, which shows a good balance of different types of activities I've done. So it's kind of sad that this is my blog today for my course. I did predict it was unlikely to be given this year, although some people said, yeah, sign me up, send me the reading documents, and it's fairly easy what they have to do. I mean, it's a lot easier than if they were in a real master's degree with a university, because here it's just self-disclosure, honesty, and it's about changing a worldview. So it has to incorporate life skills, and it has to incorporate honesty, commitment, accountability. It's not just about reading and understanding material. So this would have been a great beginning, where even if one person out of the 10 or 12 that might have signed up, and it might have been more, even if 1 or 2 had created a butterfly effect where they might have had more followers or people listening to them, and they would, unlike me, find ways to be more gentle in passing on this message, then it would have been beneficial. But that's not where this went. So this is my blog for the ECO Master of Science free course, where there's still nobody ready to take on reality of who they are and where we're at as a species, becoming further disconnected to the natural world where we evolved.